Okay, the geniuses will see us now.
I'm a pro.
He's very unprofessional.
Very unprofessional.
These are our newly arrived surgeons, Doctors Trowbridge and Greenbaum.
Doctor?
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 We're not doctors.
Are you sure they can handle this?
Oh, we can handle it. We're professionals.
You'll forgive us if we're not instilled with confidence.
Potentially unprofessional pieces of content.
Yo, episode number 18. We're back. Trevor with you, and
I'm Keegan. I'm officially gonna be Keegan.
Keegan and Trevor. All right. I'm Greenbaum then.
Okay.
Because that's sick.
One of my.
Trowbridge?
Yeah, I'll have to listen to it again.
All right. Trevor Greenbaum.
Keegan Trowbridge. Nice. We have full names now.
All right. So this week it's kind of a departure.
Yep. Special podcast. Special podcast.
This podcast is gonna go for like 6 hours because I have so many stories. You have so many stories.
Dude, I have so many.
I think I was literally fully autistic, like when I was younger, but now I'm only like 25% autistic. So, this week's podcast is fucking embarrassing girl stories, I guess.
Embarrassing girl stories.
And usually it's like hospital, but none of these are like hospital related.
Yeah, well, a bunch of, I'd say most of mine are medical school related. Because
Really?
I had a lot going on in medical school.
But they're supposed to be embarrassing. Like, are they?
Yeah, I had lots of success, but I had lots of embarrassing too.
But I feel like, from what I gathered, you didn't really get embarrassed from like the shit that you did.
Well, wait till you hear this shit.
Okay. So
I feel like we need to give a little context for each other. Like you have, I don't know, try to describe me a little bit, I guess, when it comes to that thing. Otherwise, I can try to do it.
So,
yeah,
Keegan, I don't know how to describe him. So, initially, from your own words, growing up, you had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Right.
And from the stories that I do know, is that, like, girls took advantage of you. I don't know, is that fair to say? Or no?
Yeah, I guess it was like, I don't know about take advantage of, but kind of. I just didn't know what was going on, and it was more of, they kind of just had leverage in any relationship, you know what I mean? I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't know how to, like, if I was, like, thought a girl was cute, I didn't know how to, like, talk to them, or, like, even go up to them. I didn't even know if that was the right thing to do, or how you, like, flirt, or any of that kind of shit. I mean, I have a bunch of brothers, no sisters. I don't think that
you don't have a sister,
either.
so...
Well, and then, that was how it kind of went at first. And then what about for you? I guess it was, like... Yeah, you, like, didn't you go, like, mute or something?
Yeah, so I was like, so when I first moved to, like, elementary school or whatever, I had selective mutism for, like, I don't know, maybe, like, a year, maybe, like, 6 months or something, maybe, like, a term of school, and then I moved out of that place, and the hardest part, I think, was just, like, I knew how to talk at home, but I couldn't do it there. And then, like, once it had gone on long enough, I was like, well, I can't fucking start talking now because people are going to be like, who's this weirdo? He knows how to talk, and he, like, wasn't doing it. So I moved out of that school, and then I started talking. It was fine. But I did a lot of, like, I just had, like, so much general anxiety. So, like, selective mutism is, like, based in anxiety. And I just had, like, debilitating anxiety growing up. And it got less and less. And I think, like, ultimately, like, third year of university, it, like, went away. Not went away, it's still there, but, like, it was manageable, and I, like, was able to, like, function and, like, be mostly normal. And I'll show you, like, the stories, like, in a chronological order. You'll see, like, how fucking bad I was.
Mine is just like a hodgepodge. I could start from the beginning and go on, but we'd be here for, like, fucking 4 days.
I know, that's what I was saying. But how things have changed, right?
But yeah, then I would say for the second part of my story is, like, I went from that to, like, trying to get full leverage, like, full advantage, and, like, figure out how, like, I try to break this shit down to a science. Like, I was, like, Googling shit. I was trying to figure out everything I could possibly about how you're supposed to flirt and do all this stuff, bro. I swear to God.
What's that
all
website? Girls Chase.
Yeah, girlschase.com.
Do you still
plug it right here for, like, the 10 people? No, I haven't gone on in a little while. I'll do it every once in a while to, like, look just out of curiosity.
Did you ever contribute like you wanted to?
Was I considering
Yeah,
that?
you're like, I wanted to write an article for them.
Oh, I don't remember saying that. No, I don't think I'll ever do that. But no, I am going to. I never got a subscription, but I'm gonna buy one just out of giving them money, because like that shit was big for me. It was huge. It improved it improved my like self confidence. I like understood more. Really, the main thing it did is like, it made it so I was actually certain of things.
Yeah.
Like I was so uncertain before.
And we still have like very different philosophies, but
Different philosophies. We both got it done in medical school, I would say, as far as our goals go when it came to
yeah,
relationships and girls. Very different paths. Very different paths.
When you find the right one, you gotta lock her down.
Yeah. Trevor's more of a, I don't even know,
What do you mean?
like one and done type guy. I'm more of a one and the next one and then the next one kind of guy. I don't know.
3 and then 3 next.
We're in different
next
phases
3.
of our lives. Let's just say that.
All right.
So yeah, you hit a story here.
So just to like show how bad it was, because like, so my house was like pretty conservative, very conservative, right? So I used to live with my grandma, and when I was like, before I even started school, she's like, if a girl ever asks, this is when I first like moved to a Western country from like Pakistan.
I can already tell this is horrible.
Yeah, my grandma was like, if a girl ever asks to kiss you, say you don't know how. And I was 4 years old.
Why would she say that?
I don't- She's like, I don't want to get mono. And I was like, what the fuck, grandma? I don't even know what mono is. But it's just like, stay away from girls kind of thing. Because it's conservative, So I went to school and like, I was mute first of all. So like, I had so many problems like looking back at it. But like all these girls, like
now you won't shut the fuck up.
Literally, there was one girl, I don't fucking remember her name, but she used to chase me around the fucking schoolyard and try to kiss me, and
And you were like, you kept saying no.
I had to like run because I couldn't say no.
Did you tell her that you didn't know how?
I tried, man. The words just wouldn't come out. So I would just spend like the recess just running around the schoolyard trying to avoid her.
Hey man,
It was like literally just like she'd come up, I'd run away.
a lot of people would wish for that kind of a
I
scenario.
know, man. I could have been like hooking up when I was like,
Or like
6.
4 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I didn't make it happen. That's
That would be terrifying, actually.
my top 10 biggest regrets is I didn't hook up with her. Right?
At 6. Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's so young. It doesn't even count.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. To be
I
honest.
can keep going, man.
Yeah, keep going. I want to hear this progression.
And then like I didn't know how to talk to girls, so there was one girl that like I had a huge crush on. Her name was Shannon. She was easily the prettiest girl.
I had a crush on a girl named Shannon too.
Really?
Mhm.
Maybe it was the same one.
That would be, yeah, maybe.
Maybe she moved. So it was so embarrassing. Like one day I would just stare at her in class, and like it was these tables that like there was 2 people on one side, 2 people on the other side, and you would face each other.
Oh yeah. How old are you?
Same age, maybe like 7.
Bro, speed up.
You want me to go further?
Yeah, no one cares about your 7-year-old shit.
Fine, I'll have to move forward. Is high school good or you want?
Yeah, high school's plenty good. Bro, that's such a jump. Oh my god. You just fast forward over like 10
I didn't
years.
think you want elementary school. That was like all elementary.
Yeah,
school
I
stuff.
agree.
All right, high school. Fucking super embarrassing. My friends still.
This is
bring
where
this
the good
up.
shit is, yeah.
Grade 9, first day of grade 9. All right, we had to like go to our classes or whatever, and so I went to my art class, and I like took a seat. I was just sitting by myself, doing my thing, and this hot ass girl.
Are you in the
came,
front or are you in the back?
2 rows from the front.
Okay.
On the left side.
Okay.
And this hot ass girl came up, Teresa Smith. Don't bother looking
Oh,
her
I
up
dated a girl named
because
Teresa.
really,
Yeah.
she changed her name so you can't find her.
Oh, okay.
Her last name at least. When she came and sat up right beside me, and I was like freaking out. I was like, what if she wants me to talk to her? What if she talks to me? The anxiety was insane, dude.
And you went mute for the second time.
No, that would have been better than what I did. I fucking got up and I moved.
No, you didn't.
It was so like,
no, you did not.
So
bro.
it was like there was 2 spots here, 4 spots in the middle,
You
and 2
couldn't
spots
handle
on the
it.
right side.
You're like, I gotta study.
Yeah.
I gotta study. I can't handle this anxiety. I
need to go study when I get home.
Oh my god.
So all my friends from like elementary school were there too. So two of my friends that were like pretty close to me saw, and they next day at lunchtime they told everyone. So everyone fucking knew that this like girl came and sat beside me, and I moved.
That's
And
amazing. What
even-
good friends.
Even like I think in like grade 11 or something, in art class, she even brought it up. Not art class, or science class. She even brought it up. She's like, "Are you sure you want to sit here next to me?" And I was
That's
like, "Oh
amazing.
fuck."
What a boss.
And I was still awkward, so I don't even remember what I
Teresa,
said.
What a champion.
Yeah, she really fucked me up. I was like hoping she would drop out, so I'd never have to see her. But yeah, she was really.
You're right. That is very embarrassing.
But I got a lot more, so I don't know. You take some.
All right.
So the progression, though, all right. So like, it was pretty bad, and it's still
Right.
pretty bad, but it gets better.
Right. It gets even worse, you mean?
You know the thing.
Or
is,
it gets better.
The thing is, it's not even that bad.
Uh-huh.
But the fact that I'm like getting older and it's still at this level, this makes it even worse.
I'll do a little bit early. I mean, I was like, I just didn't care when I was a kid. And I like also chose not to care. It was like a combo. And I don't know, I'd say I'm objectively a pretty decent looking dude, pretty good looking guy. So it wasn't like I got enough attention from girls where it was like, okay, this is fine. But I never like tried to push for anything. And then I literally just accidentally ended up in a relationship with this like pretty girl in high school. No, it was like I just complimented her one time because I think I felt guilty about something else I did that was completely unrelated, and I was like, I should be nicer to people. And then I just randomly messaged her on Facebook and was like, complimented her. I had no interest. I just thought she was this sad girl in class.
Yeah.
And it turns out she's like really pretty. She just wore like sweatpants and sweatshirts and shit every day. Anyway, that worked out. So that was like my relationship in high school.
Wait, what? This
Yeah.
is supposed to be like embarrassing.
I know. This is the progression though. So that I mean, I just was lucky for a while. And
That's not even fair, dude.
but at the same time, there was times when I was screwing up too. Like the girl that I actually liked, I just I couldn't get it done.
Yeah,
but it's not a fun story. And then, yeah, I'm pretty much gonna fast forward to. I mean, I'd do anything in undergrad. Like I was just like so clueless. I had no idea what was going on. And then yeah, I was just like dating this one girl from work, blah blah blah, and then it was getting closer to medical school, and that's where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I don't need to get this shit done.
I gotta stop.
I'm like, I'm way too much of a horny boy for this to me to not like try to do more than this. So then, yeah, and there was a year between undergrad and medical school, and that's where it kind of all went down, and it was just me realizing that I need to do more, and that's where I'll pick up from you go with your next
Did
story.
you ever have like that fear that like, oh, you can't approach girls,
Oh, 100%. That constantly.
Where did that stem from? Like, what was like
what was the if I'm really like looking deep into my soul about why like I couldn't approach girls?
But like, what did you tell yourself? What's it?
I mean, I would tell myself, I would come up with the Pulitzer Prize for excuses at that point. It would be like, she probably has a boyfriend, or she's with all her friends. That would be rude for me to approach right now. Or, I don't even know this girl, blah, blah, blah. It was always just some bullshit. It didn't even have to make sense, but it made sense at that time.
Yeah.
And some of them do, she could have a boyfriend, but you know what? She also could not have a boyfriend. So, what are you doing?
For me, it was more like, if I go up and talk to her, she's going to think I like her. And that was like, it was such a weird reason. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I guess I kind of did that a little too.
It's like, I don't want them to think I like them. Then they have all the power, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel you.
That was my biggest thing. So like, I don't know. I didn't talk to girls that much. I was like more like hanging out with my guy friends.
And I also didn't even know that you could do that. Like I felt like you can't just walk up and talk to somebody. Yeah. You can't just talk to a stranger. Like that makes no sense.
It's like the gym, but everywhere is a gym. They're always like they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, and there's so much conflicting info. Like when you're a kid, especially, but all the time, like girls will right now tell you like, I don't want people to come up to me, at the gym or whatever. But then some like good-looking dude who's like doing something in the gym, they're like, I wish he would come and talk to me. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what is happening? You know? And so I just didn't know. I couldn't differentiate the two.
The female mind is something else because I think they want you to come approach them, but just not in a creepy way.
Right. The thing is, as long as you're attractive and do it in an attractive way and you have the right things to say, and they're already interested in you by like looking at you and seeing what you're doing. It's like, okay, So under the perfect circumstances, now I can come approach.
The biggest thing is like one look is all it takes, and I know that now. Like
I didn't know that then.
Because most people, you go out, you don't give them a second look, but if you find someone like looking at you, then that's enough.
It's kind of over with. Yeah. I mean, if you see a girl like looking at you, I mean that's the unsubtle sign that you should approach them for sure.
And there's been so many times looking back where like some girl would have been looking.
Oh my god.
And
the amount of signs I've missed throughout my life. I mean, every time I've like progressed in like my understanding of like women or just like any of this stuff, relationships, every single progression I make, I look back and I just realize the more amount of signs that I missed that I just realized because I didn't know before, and it's always increasing.
I was like blind back then, dude.
I still am blind to some shit. It's crazy.
Like it was like looking back and like all these girls dropping hints, and like just you look around, it's like, hey, that girl's like across the hall, like across the lecture hall, like, and she's looking not at the board but like towards me.
Right.
So it's like,
you're like, oh, maybe she's looking
maybe
at someone
it's
else.
this guy
Yeah, exactly. It's always some bullshit. Like,
God.
And here's the thing, like, this is for every guy. Like, I don't care if you're like not very good looking. Like, you've gotten signs like in your life, and plenty of them, and you've missed like most of them. Probably
90% of them you missed.
Yeah,
dude.
at least, bro.
Especially when you're younger. Like I get it if you're like older, and it's more like understandable, because like when you're in your 20s and 30s or like mid 20s and 30s, it's like, okay, maybe she's like doing something else or whatever. But like when you're in university and everyone's looking to hook up, like, I think it's, if someone's looking towards your way, just like, what else could it be?
Right.
People probably think we're retarded, listening to this.
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people don't know these things, and the people that do, they're like resonating with it. They're like, I fucking didn't know that either. And if they're not, they're fucking lying. Like, everyone had to learn it over time.
Or they're 17 and they haven't hit it yet.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like 17. I mean, I guess maybe they just can't relate at all. But I guess when I was that young age, like, I had no fucking... I just had no idea, bro. I was so clueless to anything.
This girl would literally, like, follow me around in the lecture hall and, like, sit near me. And I missed that sign, It's crazy.
Literally going to you and sitting next to you.
Yeah, it was insane. And... Bro, the worst one, organic chemistry class. All right, there was one girl. It was like first few days or something, and I was just sitting there, and she comes and sits right fucking beside me. There's 300 seats in this, and only half the lecture hall is full. And I was like, of course, too much of a bitch to make a move. She made the first move.
No way. What'd she do?
She started a convo. She's like, hey, were you here? Monday? I was like, yeah. I was like, were you not? She's like, oh, I was here too. And she's like, I just want to like discuss notes, like how'd you think it went or whatever. And I was like, man, how am I so fucking stupid? I don't get it. And then like she started, I completely blew it. I don't even know what I did, but I just like try to be cool. I just went on my phone the entire fucking class.
Jesus.
I couldn't do anything worse. All I had to do was talk, bro, and I couldn't do that.
And that's really like, especially when you're like that age, when you're young, bro, all you have to do is like kind of talk and then just be like, do you want to hang out sometime? Like, you could literally sound so stupid and it works.
I know.
Like, there's so many times I think of like the girls, like same thing, like we're in math, like sat down next to me, like, bro, the ultimate sign. And then, you could feel the sexual tension in the air. You could cut it with a knife. And I knew it. Like, I even at that time, even though I knew nothing, I was like, oh, I feel like something's happening. Even though no one's even talking. And all I literally had to do was be like, I bet if I had just said, do you want to hang out sometime? Out of the blue, she would have said yes. And this is like a really pretty girl. And this happened like several times.
I know. And honestly, this has happened like 3 or 4 times in like my first year of uni.
The sitting next to you thing?
Like sitting near, whatever.
Okay.
And I completely fucked it up every time. And it's like so frustrating looking back. But this was when I was 18, when I was in first year. So I'm still on that cusp. But I got another one where I completely fucked it up. I don't know why, what was going through my head. But like the thought process was that like, you have to get the power somehow and get the girl to talk to you. But like, the older you get, the less likely that is to happen, I feel. Unless you're in like a big city, but like where I am is like a small city.
What do you mean?
Like, the older you get,
okay,
like through school, but like you're going through school, high school, girls will come talk to you. University, they will, but it's less likely. And then,
I get what you're saying.
As you progress,
100%.
they're like less likely
Then
to
it's
do it.
like, yeah, not at all.
Yeah. But I worked in Dollarama 1 year, and it was a pretty chill job, honestly. I liked working in Dollarama. The manager loved me. But there was one girl there who was like in university with me. This is when I was in second year of uni. And she was super cute. I really hope she can't hear.
Whatever. She knows that you have looked at people and thought they're cute in the past.
Yeah, but I like to keep that part of my life separate. Okay, she's the only girl I've ever liked.
That's
okay?
silly, I think.
But anyway, she was super cute. I'd never seen her around, but like, we worked different shifts initially, and I was like, hey, can you put me shift working with this girl? And so like, I was like working in the back, she was working in the front, so we never really got to talk. But like one day she like tried talking to me. She came up and started talking to me, bro. Oh, how did I fuck this up every single time? And she's like, hey, are you from, this place? And I was like, yeah. And then she was like waiting for me to talk, and I didn't know what to say. So she was like, oh, cool. She like walked away. And then like for some reason I was like trying to like, redeem myself and try to talk more.
Sure.
But like every time she came nearby, I'd just like freeze up and I wouldn't know what to say. Yeah. And then one day I was like, for some reason I thought like you had to have a good body. And so I was like, bro, how do I get abs in like 2 weeks? And I was like doing the most. Wrong shit. All I had to do was go talk, dude.
It was already over.
Yeah. And then like later on, I saw her in university like a year or two later, and like I was normal at that point. So I was like, oh, hey, Dollarama girl, how's it going? Because I didn't remember her name. And she's like, oh, good. And she like walked away.
Damn.
I completely blew that shit.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad.
Oh man, I did all that stuff all the time.
She was such a cutie.
The first girl that I would say I ever was interested in, that was before the one I just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So it was obvious. We would like literally go on like double dates and stuff. So it was like, technically I dated this girl, but we never kissed or hooked up or anything. And she was in my class with me. But it had gone on for so long, and we never like did anything. I never really asked her to come hang out with me, and so it just kind of went away over time. Obviously, it's been like a fucking year of this shit. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna ask her to prom, one time, and she's just like, oh, sorry, like I don't want to. Like,
she said that.
I don't know exactly what she said, but it was essentially like. It was even worse. It was like, oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm sure this was like breaking your heart, but blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, it is, but don't say that.
That's the meanest way.
Yeah, isn't it the meanest shit? She didn't know. I'm sure she was just trying to be like sweet or whatever. But yeah,
we went on like 1,000 dates, but I don't think I want to come with you. That's so weird.
I know. I was like, damn, and that shit fucked me up a bit.
I'm like surprised I actually like ever got a girlfriend in high school, because I did.
Well, mine was in like an accident.
And so basically mine was worse than an accident. The girl held my hand through every fucking step of the way, that it was like shameful that I even like was in this relationship. But and it took forever, by the way. So it was like science class or something. I don't remember what it was, but this girl like started talking to me, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Is this some kind of trick? What does she want? She want my money or something?
Well, that's how girls feel when people come up to them weird. It's like, what does this motherfucker want? This is weird.
Yeah, I was like, well, she likes me? I don't know. It's like, I couldn't believe it, And so like she started talking to me for a while, and like we would hang out and shit at school. Never asked her to hang out outside of school. She asked me a bunch of times, and I kept shutting her down. I was like, no, it's too embarrassing. Which I don't understand how my mind worked, but that's what I thought.
How old are you right now?
16.
Okay.
Because I graduated at 17, and this was like grade 11, so I was 16. And yeah, she would like come hang out, and then we didn't really talk. She was like, over the summer or whatever, she like did her own thing. I did mine. We came back. We started like getting super close, and then like she fucking asked me out.
Wow. I at least asked my girl out, but it was like after a very long time of pushing.
Dude, it was, I'm telling you, it was embarrassing how little I did for this. And then like everything, like going on dates, like I was still too afraid to ask her for anything. And then she like asked me to come to pep rallies before we started dating. She's like, I'm gonna be, performing or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, I'll try to come, and I would never go. Dude, doing the most. She would stay after school for me because I'd be like wait for my dad to like drive me and shit.
This is your soulmate.
Man, she went through everything, and then like I didn't ask her to prom either. She asked me to prom, so we started dating like after prom. Like officially. But it was just super sad, dude. And then like finally we hooked up after, but it was her. She like initiated everything, and it was just like, I don't know. When I look at that, I'm just like, what was going through my head, you know?
All right, when you were first like hooking up with girls, what did you do? Because I just did like the over the pants like grinding rub. Do you know what I'm talking about? The over the pants, like both have jeans on, like grinding.
It was really hard because I was too afraid to take anything off.
Oh,
so it was
okay.
a lot of like the over the pants.
I wasn't. I just
stuff.
was like, I was genuinely unsure of what to do.
I don't either.
I was like, this is good enough. I love this. So I would just do that.
This is good.
I'm like, this is great. I love it. This is fantastic.
So I came like, you know, before we even started anything.
Yeah. That's just what I'm like, this is awesome.
It was, I don't know, man. It was more awkward than anything else. Where do you put your hands, you know? Like, am I supposed to touch you or whatever?
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I was at that point. But.
I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was mostly over the pants, and then she, like, let everything, you know, fucking took her clothes off and took my clothes off, dude, because I didn't want to get in there.
Jeez, she held your hand the whole way.
So, I don't know, dude. I'm glad I learned from that, but I was just too awkward. But I did something badass, all right?
Okay, I'm ready.
Because I went to, like, one town for high school, and then for university, I had to move to another town. It was much bigger, and I was going to reinvent myself. I was like, I'm done being this fucking awkward loser, you know? I want to talk to more girls and...
That's me going to medical school.
Get more experience and shit. So I was starting, like... I took a big hit when I first started because lectures are huge, you know? And it's hard to, like... There's always open seats. So you're like, oh, do I sit by someone? You know, I'm going to be a loser for, like, trying to make friends and shit. So that didn't work out. But, you know, have you ever had labs?
Labs?
Yeah, like biology lab.
Of course.
Okay, I don't know how it worked in the U.S. Yeah. So there's like less people. It's like 50 people, and you work with partners. I was like, okay, I gotta find whatever girl I think is cute and just go sit by her.
That's smart.
I managed to fuck it up.
You sat next to a guy.
No.
You thought it was a girl.
So that was a cop out. You know, go sit next to a guy. I was like, don't fucking whatever you do, don't sit next to a guy because it's gonna be the worst. Just go sit next to a cute girl. So I went and like I sat next to this super cute girl, and like we talked a little bit. I was like, hey, I'm Trevor. I almost said my name there. And we started working. Trevor. We started working, and she wasn't like she didn't know that much about biology or whatever.
This is the cute girl. Is it the cutest girl in the class, or is this just like a cute girl?
It's a cute girl.
Okay.
It's not the cutest one, dude. Come on.
All right. That's fine.
No, that was the goal.
Somewhere?
The goal was sit by whatever
Okay.
girl I think is cute.
Okay.
So, I went and we're like doing our thing, and we're mostly like doing our own thing for the beginning. And she's like, "Hey, can I have your help with this?" And I was like, "Why don't you work on your thing and I'll work on mine?"
No,
dude, I came up
didn't.
as the biggest fucking asshole like in the world.
Did not.
And then I realized like right after that I fucked up. And so I was like afraid to like make things better. So she like asked the teaching assistant for help. I was like, oh, you know what? Let me help you out. So I helped her out. And then by the end of the thing, it was like 3 hours, that lab. So like we were like, friends. And then like 2 or 3 labs after we started dating. So.
Oh, it works.
I managed.
What do you mean, man? It worked.
Yeah, because like the thing is.
Had a guy.
Getting.
This is undergrad. Or what year is this?
First year of university.
Okay.
First year, first term.
Well done.
And
I didn't do anything first year, man.
The thing was, getting in was the hardest part, because once the barrier is broken, then it's super simple.
I agree.
So like after that, like we were super chill. It was like super natural, whatever. You could talk, but that was like a big, step for me. And I regressed after that for a bit, and we broke up like 6 months later, but it was like
well done though. I mean you had a plan, you stuck with it, and you got it done, even though there were mishaps along the way. Like
mishaps, yeah.
That's fantastic, man.
Man, I was kicking myself when I went home. I was like, I hope she doesn't think I'm an asshole for like saying what I said. But no, it all worked out, and like honestly, it was super fun because I loved going to lab after that, and we broke up, and I saw her in class like once in a while, but yeah, we weren't like partners anymore, so it was all good. She works as a nurse now, and she's still super hot.
She's got even hotter, or she's just like also hot?
No, she's still hot.
Oh, okay.
I looked her up on Facebook like, a few years ago. I haven't seen it since, but.
Well, okay. For me, so this is the transition period for me.
Wait, did I ever tell you that story?
Which one? That one you just told me?
Yeah.
No, never.
Damn, why didn't I tell you
That's
that?
fantastic. Right, you're proud of that, and you should be. That was a good one. I mean, I never hatched a plan and got it done until med school, for real.
But it's hard though because for me it was that I was so fucking awkward compared to everyone else that I had to change something.
Yeah.
And it was like driving me insane. So that had to happen, you know? I couldn't like stay the way I was. So that was like the one step that I had to take.
For me, I knew I wasn't awkward. I knew I could be, but I like in general I knew I wasn't. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, do I talk to them? Do I not? Do I do this? Do I don't do this? Like what's the thing? Anyway, end of undergrad, I'm like, all right, I'm sick of this. Like, I have a bad feeling about Tinder and Bumble and stuff, but I'm gonna do it. Oh my god, wild. I mean, I learned so much just from my first interactions with people, like crazy. Because it's like, first of all, I think the first girl I met and like hooked up with off Bumble, like this crazy girl. Like I mean, in her defense, I mean, she was like, I think she told me like on the first date that she was raped before. I'm like, okay, this is a lot. But she on the way there, I'm literally on the way to her university, and she messages me, "Oh, did you bring condoms?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's one of these?" I'm like, "This is how it works?" I'm like, I didn't know. I'm like, "Yeah, I have one," but
wait, what? How old are you?
This is the end of university, so 22, I think. I mean, like I've had sex plenty of like several times. Like I've been with like, you know, girls I thought were pretty, blah blah blah, but it wasn't up to like my expectations, and I still had no idea what was happening. Like I didn't know how to pursue anything. So this is like the beginning of my journey anyway. So I end up hooking up with this girl, and it was just this weird experience. And she, yeah, I'm not even gonna go into that anymore. That was when, I mean, she was, okay, one thing about that though, she was like, "Oh, I want you to choke me," like while we're like hooking up, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess I can do that."
And you fucking killed
Bro,
her.
I just like, I choked the shit out of her. Like there's no way I didn't hurt her. She never said it, but there's no way, because I was like, I'm like, all right, if this is what turns her on, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so I was giving it, you know, a pretty good squeeze. And then I realized after, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like that's not good. That's not what she wants.
Is
I think
she still
likes,
awake anymore?
I think she likes the idea of it, maybe not actually being choked.
Yeah, I don't understand when people say that. It's super weird. Not that
Well, I
that's
get
ever
it.
happened to
I
me,
get
but-
it. Like, oh, they like the idea of it, maybe, like, whatever. I understand it now, but they don't actually want to suffocate.
Yeah.
Usually. And that was this case, too.
Nothing makes her feel more alive than being choked, hey?
I guess, man.
The opposite. So, all these stories you're telling me, you end up hooking up. So.
Right. I know. I know. I also, I don't know. I don't know how to put it. So all my embarrassing stuff happened in med school. I was trying to give you a progression like you are.
Oh.
So because I was kind of getting lucky before, and like also like I didn't know what was happening. It was always like I fell into the lap of it. Like even that Bumble thing. Like I had been on other dates on it and they didn't work or whatever. And this one, it was like on the way there, she messaged me, "Did you bring condoms?" I'm like, what the fuck? So anyway, and I didn't do anything special over Bumble. She was gonna do that anyway. This is like the biggest hoe of all time that I've ever met. So, I mean, you want embarrassing ones, man? I got you. I got you.
Now we're gonna go into the list.
So, yeah, I did some more stuff before I went to medical school. I get to med school, I'm like, now I'm gonna reinvent myself. I'm gonna like I'm gonna like study by day, all day, every day, and then by night, I'm gonna go out and work on my flirting. I'm gonna try to like bring girls home. I'm gonna do it all, right? I literally called my friends and told them this, and they're like, "What the fuck? Okay, but like, good luck. Like, I'm proud of you. I think." You know, they're like at home in Minnesota with like their fiancés and shit. And I'm like, "All right, I'm on an island nation, and I'm going to like try to get punani."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you have any others you want to talk about, or otherwise I can just rattle some off?
Yeah, I think I do, but they're not like that bad. Like I like this one girl, and I was too much of a bitch to do anything, and I told my friend, because he was like in the same major as her, he was friends with her, and he told her, and he told everyone else, and
That's
so
how it goes. That's good though. I'm glad he did.
You're glad?
Yeah, because it fucked you up.
Yeah, and then so
You should act.
so like my friend, like I hadn't seen her for a bit, and so my friend was like, "Hey, so what do you think about, you know, Trevor?" I said my name again almost. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna go out with him because like everyone like
Damn. Well, that's See, if everyone knows, it's over. With.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he said something because then it fucked you up. You're like,
Yeah, I know.
damn, I gotta act.
I should just pull the trigger. Like, it was just stupid,
Well,
man.
that's the name of the game. Pull the
Yeah.
trigger, and then if you get embarrassed, learn from it.
The thing is, I was thinking about pulling the trigger like years too late, because when she was in
Right.
class with me, then she would like
That's how
literally
every
turn
guy-
around and like look at me
Right. That's how
Uh,
every guy does it.
during lecture, and then like
It's
I
always too late when
Yeah.
you figure out, oh, maybe I should do this. It's always way too, like,
Mm.
you are so off. You missed the boat 100 times over.
Bro, there was multiple boats and I missed all of them. All I had to do was say hello, you know, right in front of me. Oh,
Well,
hey, I dropped my pencil. Can you pass it?
Bro, there was a fucking port of boats that I was missing.
Every single
It was
one,
crazy.
man.
I didn't get a single one.
And then so when I was like going to pull the trigger, it was already way too late, you know. Who knows? She's probably moved on. Because no one's gonna wait around and be like, "Oh, is this guy ever gonna ask me out? What about this month?" You know. And so like even the fact that like my friend told it was like whatever, like it wasn't. It was already too late, but like it just like fucked it up even more. So it wasn't gonna go anywhere.
I feel like you have the most time to ask a girl out if you see them like every day, and you have less, like the less amount you see them. So if you like go to a club and you see a girl, you have 10 seconds to like get them to like you and start a conversation, and then like ask them out. You know what I mean? Not 10, but like 10 seconds to get them to like you, and then like a couple minutes to like be like, all right, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So I mean, shit, and I realized that. I mean, I was reading these like articles from Girls Chase.
Girlschase.com, guys, go
.com,
subscribe.
Subscribe, or there's free articles as well. Very good.
If you
very
go through
important.
Google, you can read as many articles for free as you want.
But I told you this before. Girls Chase was my father when I was in medical school. It gave me the advice I needed.
Oh my god.
But so I would study by day, and then by night, you know, people go home and like chill, you know, play video games, watch movies, you know, whatever, read books, hang out with their significant other. I'm out there sweating my balls off at the bar trying to like talk to girls, and I'm so nervous, so anxious, and I'm like exhausted from studying all day. And I'm just telling myself, all right, just do your best, like just go talk to them. You know, I would just go up talk to these random girls.
Do you remember the first time you went?
The first time I went, I am so nervous, man. I live right by this bar, right? So I walk down to it, and I'm hungry. I'm so hungry because it's like my second day there, and I'm like, I need food. So I go, I eat the burger there, and like the guy sees that I'm just fucking nervous, and he's like, hey, you know, you good? Blah blah blah, and he's like, and so I'm eating this burger, right? And at one point he comes up to me. He's like an older gentleman, I don't know, like 40s, and he's like, hey, there's this girl sitting over the table over there. You know, you should go ask her out. I haven't even talked to this guy. Yeah, and he's like telling me I should go ask this girl. I'm like, fuck, what does he know me? What is happening here? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and he comes back another time. He's like, do you want me to ask her out for you? And I'm like, all right.
Wait, is the bartender?
Yeah. I'm like, okay. And this is like a weekday, so there's not a lot of people there.
Why is he wingmanning you?
Total wingmanning me. And so he eventually does it. I don't know what happened. I think I walked over there eventually with like a beer. Anyway, I take so long. Hours I'm talking to this girl and just sitting in silence, sitting in silence. Like
Oh my
other
God.
people come up that are like, we like meet some other people who are just randoms. and we're talking, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, it takes so long. And I finally, at the end of the night, I've never done anything like this before. I've never even gone to like bars, really. And I'm like, all right, it's now or never. Like, you've been here for fucking like 4 hours. I'm tired.
Was it that long?
Yeah. At other times we had like gone away from each other and come back. But I go up to her and I'm just like, I had no preface or anything. I was literally just like, you want to come back to my place or something like that? And she's like, oh, I think I'm having good fun here or something. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just like kind of walk back to the little group and they're like, oh, did you just ask her out? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, how'd it go? I'm like, bad. She doesn't want to. They're like, no. I'm like, they're like, you? Because they're like, you look good. Like, what? They couldn't believe it. And this was like a couple of guys and a couple of girls. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. And they're like, oh. And I felt so embarrassed and sad. And I walked back. But when I walked back though, I got home and I'm like, I fucking did that though. Like, I went up and talked to this girl, even though everything in me was telling me to go the fuck home or not do it, right?
That fear of rejection.
So that was huge. I mean, that was a big moment for me. And then from then on, I mean, I was kind of doing the same thing, going out.
Did you ever see her again?
Never saw her again. She was only there for a little bit because she was there for like, she was like on some sailing group or something. For her work or some shit.
Oh, so it was like, a tourist, not a local.
No, I mean, yeah, she's not I guess. I mean, she was there for work, but she would like sail around for it. But yeah, I mean, then just a series of fucking goofy ass stories from going down to that bar and trying to talk to girls. And on Tinder on the island as well.
Tinder on the island sucked.
Yeah. I mean, I only got technically 2 girls from Tinder on there, but one of them I got later, so I didn't see her on Tinder. I would just like, I had this thing where every single time I would go out, I'm like, if you ever see a girl that's kind of cute, you fucking have to say something. You have to talk to her, no matter how out of your way it is, anything. Like, I don't care if you've gotten groceries, you're already walking out of the store, and then you see the girl in the store. You have to go back in the store and talk to her. It's like that
insane.
much. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. But that's how I was doing it. And shit, I improved.
Yeah.
But, so I see this girl, we both motorcycled in. It was like perfect timing. And I talked to her, and I at that point, I was always forgetting to tell people my name, so they fucking knew me. This was later, so I'm missing a lot of good stories up to this point. But then this was like 4th term, so near the end of our time, 3rd term. And I was like, at the very end, we're literally walking. I'm like, oh, you're going that way? Oh, okay, I'm going this way. I'm she's like, oh, I'm blah, blah, blah.
You said your name.
Fuck, I gotta edit. Damn it.
I'm Keegan.
Damn it. I'm Keegan. Fuck. And that's how you know I'm in the story.
Yeah. I did that so many times almost today.
And then I saw her on Tinder later, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking over with. So then we just like flirted, and we hung out, and yeah, we hooked up.
Was she one of the students?
Yeah. She was cute. I think a lot of guys would think she was really cute. She's not really my type as much, though. So yeah. But yeah, no, it was good.
And your whole philosophy: if you think anyone's attractive,
just I have to. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's if anyone's attractive, you have to talk to them and flirt with them, and then I'm trying to bring them back too, and hook up with them. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if they're like interested, then there's no harm in it. That was kind of my thoughts, but.
And your STD tests were all clean, so.
That's right.
Everything turned out fine.
I've been positive once.
For what?
It was before I went to Grenada.
For what?
Gonorrhea.
Oh, okay.
Or was it chlamydia? No, I think whatever the most common one is. I think it was.
Might have been
chlamydia.
I think it's gonorrhea.
I think it's common. I don't know. But anyway, and it was like I mean, I don't want to promote non-safe sex, but I kind of do, because man, it's just one pill and you're fucking done. Like it's really easy. It's no problem. You just take an antibiotic and you're just chilling. Don't have sex for a few days. All right, we're back on it.
It's easy enough though.
It's funny when they have to tell you though, like, hey, so I tested positive, and so just so you know. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what do I gotta do?
They told you?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Well, they have to. I mean, thank God. I mean, I hope they would, because otherwise, I might have it, and then I'm like gonna come down with it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's a funny combo.
How much did it improve on the island?
My abilities?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, 10,000-fold. I mean, it was crazy.
Like, quite at the extreme.
Dude, insane amounts.
What were some of the mistakes you were making, like, early on?
I was missing tons of signs. Wasn't pulling the trigger a lot of the times. When I was pulling the trigger, I wasn't like doing any prefacing. Like that one girl was just like, all right, do you want to go out sometime? Or like, do you want to come over? It was like hey man, how about you ask them about the bananas that are right there, and then fucking asking them to go
What?
out. You know what I mean? Like anything. At least make it part of a conversation,
yeah.
even if it's fucking out of the blue. Like
So like, so when you're approaching someone, instead of being like, hey, do you want to go out? Be like, oh,
yeah.
hey.
Like,
you know, I
hey,
like
how are
your
you
hair.
doing? Yeah, just like anything. Yeah, compliments or whatever. Yeah, a lot of the biggest thing I was just trying to improve on at first was like, just approach. Just go talk to them. You're gonna fuck up, and that's okay. And then I would fuck up, and then I would realize my mistakes, and I would try not to do it more. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like I was just trying to break my anxiety, my approach anxiety, that kind of stuff, and I've definitely cut it down a ton. So
How easy would it be to like do that same stuff at the hospital here?
at the hospital here, I mean, here's the thing. If I had the same vigor that I did then, because I was like, I need to change something, I could do it. I think it would be a little bit harder because you see the same people all the time every day,
Yeah,
whereas
plus you
in
don't have
Grenada,
time
it was
to-
like, there was a big kind of flooding of people, and you could kind of just pick and choose and weave your way through them. Whereas this, it's like, all right, if I'm going to ask a resident out, I got to see him tomorrow, you know, and they're going to tell all the other residents, obviously, you know what I mean? So it's like, and I guess it's not a huge deal, but also you're trying to like, what if you're trying to match at that hospital? Like things get weird. You're also trying to impress these people. So it's
Yeah.
like, now if I'm just like
If he sucks in
hooking
bed,
up,
you know, maybe he sucks in the OR too.
yeah. But that complicates things. Whereas I feel like if you're at school, like you could ask out every single girl in the place, and they all could be talking shit about you, and it really doesn't matter still. You know what I mean? I don't know. This also doesn't matter. I'm blowing
That was
it up
already
too much
happening
too,
at
but like,
SGU.
what do you mean?
All these girls are talking shit about you. What are you talking about?
Honestly, I'm wondering. I'm curious what people say about me behind my back because I really don't know. Like, it doesn't really get back to me very much.
So someone told me, I think I told you already, but like there was like 3 girls sitting, and you approached them. One of them was the girl that I know, and
Oh, I already
you,
know
like,
what this is.
Yeah,
It's
you
2
like
girls
joined
sitting.
them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 2 girls, and you're like, are any of you single?
There was a
something like
time when I was literally just going up to them and asking them if they're single.
Yeah. So it's such a bad way to do it.
But at the same time, it like.
I know it's good. It gets you practice. It's just like you don't give a fuck.
Right. And I mean, shit, it worked some months. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it worked other times too, but like some, it was like, no, you know. But, yeah. No, I remember that one. But I think, I mean, I don't think I ever told you this, and this is only an assumption, but I think that girl started to really like me. The girl that you know.
Really?
Yeah, near the end.
She had too many island boyfriends. Bro.
I know. She had tons of shit going on. And I'm
Yeah.
just saying, it was kind of like, I just kind of had the feeling from her whenever I was around her. I'm like, what the fuck? But anyway,
It was so funny. She'd like go watch soccer, and I was like, "Why are you watching?" She's like, "Oh, because this guy's sexy." And she had a boyfriend back home
Right,
in like
that's-
Chicago.
wild. That's wild.
Yeah, it's just the island is like its own little atmosphere or whatever. Or
Well,
like,
let's
little
go
biome.
over what you did. You like, I was kind of like talking about this stuff way too openly. But anyway, I was doing it, and you're like, oh, okay, like this guy's trying to get out here and like get some girls or whatever, or
Yeah.
improve his anxiety, whatever it was. And then how would you take it from there? You were pretty much like, well, I'm not getting any work on Tinder or anything, so like, how do I do this?
That was never really my goal to like hook up as much as
Right.
possible. So I don't know. I was basically looking for like a good girl that I could like take over my parents.
You know, I was just looking for the girl of my dreams.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, like I understand what you're saying, and if you're a normal guy, the urge is like always there. That like, if I can hook up with all these girls, why aren't I doing that?
Right.
Or like, if I can like change something and do it, why am I not doing it?
Mm-hmm.
So that urge was there, but then like, there's other things like deep down that are telling me no, for some reason, this is wrong. And it's hard to ignore, because like, my grandma all the way when I was 4 was like, oh, don't tell this girl you don't know how to kiss. It's like, that's the foundation, and it's really hard to stray from it. And that urge is like always there still, to some degree, but I'm like still happy with my decision.
So how did it end up? Like, give us the short story on how you ended up getting with, what do we call
Ainsley? I don't know. We have a different name.
Anastasia.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I think that's me.
Okay.
No, I want to keep going.
Okay. We'll just like edit this part out.
Who is it?
Okay, perfect.
No.
All right, so continuing. I had to do. Oh, we gotta edit that part out.
Go.
I had to do a lot of work. So she was like resistant to like date because it's the island. You're only there for a little bit, then you spread out everywhere. So I had to go ask her out, which was.
How do you know this girl? Who is this girl? Like, how did you know her in the first place?
Oh,
so she's in like kind of a friend group that you're kind of a part of.
Yeah, I wasn't a part of it, but
Okay.
like small group, we had our own thing, you know, just talking. We would like leave small group and like talk
Were
afterwards.
you interested in this girl at this time?
You know, initially I wasn't. So second term, I was not interested at all. And I was just like, you know, I was at this point I'm not awkward, so I was just like talking to people. So I would talk to my group members. We were like, you know, fine. Weren't like super close or anything. But then like third term, it was like different, more flirty and stuff. And so like we would leave whatever the small group hall and like go walk to the bus stop or whatever. I'd go to my apartment. And I was like, you know what? I like her, so I need to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And you were there, bro. Like the fear of like rejection was so intense because at this point I was like super out of practice. And I went and I was like, yo, let's go get lunch or something. And she said later that she knew that I was gonna ask her out at some point.
Right.
So I went.
Yeah, you weren't being subtle about. I mean, you were talking to her all the time.
Yeah. So we talked for like an hour, and I was like, yo, so like, I have a feeling you like me, and you know I like you, so you know, do you want to date or go out sometime or like date or something? I don't remember exactly what I said. And she's like, no. No, I'm just kidding. I think, what did I say? She was like, you know, I like you and like what we're doing now or whatever. Some like long explanation, and you were like, you know, that means no.
Right.
And yeah, you're right. It means no. So then like a couple of days later, I was like, okay, so like, why don't you want to date? You know?
Yeah.
And someone else was like, give her an ultimatum, okay? And I was like, no.
I think I said no to that. I mean, I would have.
The ultimatum is a bad idea.
Yeah. You let them decide.
So I asked her again, like, yo, like, why don't you want to date? And she's like, same thing, you know, you're gonna go back to Canada. So she biggest thing was like, we're gonna split up. But I persevered, you know, I kept at it. And
but what didn't you like cool off a little bit too? Though?
Yeah.
Like,
so I was getting to that too.
Okay. I thought you were just gonna be like, and I persevered, and it worked. I was like,
so
what the fuck?
I persevered, and it was like super annoying because it was only like, you know, me putting in the effort, and I was like getting super annoyed at that. And then I kind of cooled off for like a month, and I didn't hit her up at all, didn't talk to her. And then she hit me up, and
Told you.
oh.
I told you she would.
And then I don't know what happened. I think she mentioned she wanted to do something, and I was like, okay, that's good enough for a girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, you know, this sounds good. I was like, okay, that's enough to be like, okay, let's go do it. So we did, and then it's like a snowball effect, you know, it's more and more. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. So I just went inside with her in lecture. And yeah, like,
The rest is history.
yeah.
As they say.
And so she asked me out, because I was like, I'm not fucking asking her out again. I already did it.
Right.
Yeah, I already did it 2
I
times.
agree. That's the one time I'm like, all right, that's fine.
I already did it 2 times,
Right.
and I'm not gonna do it, even if it's like been, you know, months.
How
or
did she
whatever.
ask you? What were the words she used?
Hey, that's personal.
That.
No, I think it was just like, yo, so what do you think about dating now? And I was like,
That's pretty. That's
Yeah.
a lame way to do it. I wish
Yeah.
it was like, do you want to be my boyfriend?
that's super lame.
Yeah,
Do you
I
want to
know.
go steady with me?
Yeah.
No, it was just like, yo, so what do you think about dating now? And I was like, I'll think about it. And I'm just kidding. I was like, yeah.
And then we high-fived.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like studying for a test, and I was super distracted for that test, and I did really bad on it. But yeah, and it was good. I had to do long distance because of COVID, and it worked out.
And now you're both here in New York. Look at that.
Yeah, it ended up working out and being a good story. So
I mean, I have like a million stories on my like on my mini escapades. I mean, I was going out like every weekend, and plus all the times I was on Tinder and Bumble over there. Well, just Tinder, and then all the times. I mean, I asked so many people out just in class, in labs, at lecture, at. I asked people out at the white coat ceremony. Like
you did?
I did, yeah. And so this girl, I mean, she was a pretty blonde girl. Like she's like, you know, the ideal like blonde girl. And I asked her out. I mean, I was smooth as fuck at the white coat ceremony. I just went up and sat next to him, like blah blah blah, and I killed it. So we hang out one time, we get food, and I'm just so weird. I just am like anxious. I just don't know how to do it, and I'm like trying to like push, you know, my like agenda a little bit. It's just, you know, I'm just not doing it right. And anyway, so we're near the end of the date, and I'm like, oh fuck, I need to like ask her to like do something else again sometime or something. And like I didn't know how to like end things, and I was going over here, she was going over there. I literally just sped walked away and was like, all right, I'll see you around. Like, and I just was like, like, it's like some super bad shit. I just sped walked to like the bus stop. She's like, are you just like speed walking away?
I've done that so many times, dude.
Bro, she like pointed it out. I never hung out with her again. I tried. I always like would go down with the ship. You know what I mean? I never was like, oh, I don't think it's gonna work out. You know, I would always be like, all right, well, that ended horribly, but I'm gonna hit her up. And they'd always, you know, be like, oh, you know, I'm not really, you know, maybe, or let's try like next after. They love to do that because our tests were every like what month? Or more?
Yeah, 3 weeks. No.
Yeah, like 3 weeks. Sometimes 6 weeks, sometimes 5, whatever.
Yeah.
And they would always be like, oh, you know, maybe after this next test, and like the test was always like 2 weeks away. So it's like you need 3 weeks of time to hang out. Like 2 weeks isn't enough. You know, it's always like, you know, me just not getting the hint, or like me being like just not willing to accept it, which both are fine, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and then just so many times I would go out to the bar and just get absolutely shredded, just get owned. I mean, there like I would, because the main thing is like I didn't know how to like approach and like normally and like say hi and stuff. And I mean, like there was one time there was just like a couple of girls just with like, there are a couple of black girls with like really big like bushy hair, and I went up to them, I was literally just like, you know, all right, first thing comes to your mind, go. And I'm just like, hey guys, like, hey, like, you have a lot of hair. Like, yeah. And I just stood there, bro. I just stood there. They're like, all right. And they both like kind of slowly like started turning away from me.
Oh my god.
And I'm just like, all right.
That's so sad.
That one was ruined.
This is early, I hope.
No, that was later. I mean, you still, but I don't care who you are. I don't care if you just like crush all the time. You're gonna still fuck up like pretty often. I mean, like, and no, I don't care how good you are with girls. Like, you don't go up and like have like 80%, you know, kill rate. You don't go like 80% of them and get them to come out with you. Like, it just doesn't happen like that.
Not possible.
No. So you're gonna. I mean, even if you're amazing, you still fail. I don't know. Let's just say like 60% of the time you're failing.
I would say so more often than not. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Fail. Definitely. And 60% of failing and 40% winning. I mean, that's fantastic.
That's still super high.
Yeah, that's super high. But yeah, I was just out getting crushed out there. And I mean, but dude, you know, like 1 out of 10, you know, it worked. Or like maybe 1 out of 10 and I didn't even get it done. But like, I got my next goal, which was, all right, approach a girl, talk to her, have a steady conversation. Boom. Like, if I did that once that night, I got it. You know, I was pumped. And I fucking was, you know.
You gotta like set those little goals.
You gotta set the little goals, because if your goal is to find your dream girl and date her and marry her, like you haven't even approached a girl before. How are you gonna do all that other shit? You know what I mean?
Especially like when I was like growing up, it was just like it took me so long, because for the first until like the end of high school, I made like no effort to try and like be less awkward. It was just like, whatever happens, you know. And like people,
I was the same.
Some shit would happen. I didn't get butterflies in my stomach all the time, you know, when you're anxious and shit. And that doesn't happen anymore. But I didn't really make any effort from myself to like better my situation. And it was only like when I was in university, I was like, okay, things have got to change. And then again, it's just step by step, just like setting those goals for yourself. And like, yeah, like being like, oh, okay, I gotta find the prettiest girl and sit by her. Like, it's not even a big step. It's just the tiniest thing.
That's huge, though,
it's
for
like,
you to get that. Like, because if you don't do that, you know, then you can't start. You can't even do the other goals.
But that's such a small thing, you know. You have to work in partners.
Mhm.
Just look at a girl and go sit next to her. Like,
Right.
what more? And because you have to sit somewhere, you
Mhm.
know, it's like the smallest thing, and just like keep doing that until it gets easier. And I think now it's like much better.
And then you have to set your next goal too, though. You know what I mean? And like, oh, talk to her or like
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, exactly.
But I think one issue a lot of guys run into, and people in general, is like they are just okay with that first step sometimes, or like whatever. Their like third goal is set.
Mhm.
Oh well, gets them talking to me, and that makes me feel good. So then I go home. It's like, all right, but now you have been lonely for 2 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just get some attention. Like, is that what you want? Okay.
Yeah, like some guys just, this is from like personal experience. One of the guys I know, he just like lives on the high, you know, of what he had before. And so he brings up all the time about how he had like a 400-day snap streak with some girl.
Who gives a fuck?
You're telling me, dude. That's what I told him every single time.
What is this, a Call of Duty achievement? And even then, who gives a fuck?
I know.
What?
I was like, as long as you're not like in person doing anything, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And he's super awkward. I was trying to like help him because I was like, okay, I see some of myself in you, okay? But he didn't want to like talk to anyone. He didn't want me to wingman him. He didn't want to like.
Yeah, that's the
just
thing. You can't
talk.
save everybody. They have to want it.
Yeah, but his biggest thing was like I think he just had like really bad anxiety that just never relented. So he was able to like text, but he couldn't talk to like any girls. It was just super weird. And I get that. That was me too.
I mean, that's
back
a lot
in,
of
like,
guys. Yeah, I mean, that was
yeah.
me back in the day too. But
Yeah, back in like in grade 9, I could text fine, but I just like froze when I could like when I had to talk. It was super weird.
I mean, a lot of it is just that like 5 seconds of courage just to do that thing, even though it's like everything's telling you not to. Like when it was the first day of everyone going to brewery and like hanging out like of our first term. It was like before we even started first classes, and I remember there were so many people there. I was like, this is so overwhelming. But anyway, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do my thing still regardless. And I was seeing some people I had seen already. And anyway, these two guys were just like talking in front of me. I ended up talking to them, and they're like, one of them was like really eager to try to get us with other girls because he was already had a significant other, and he's like really trying. I'm like, all right. I'm like, this is fine. And so he was like literally pushing us into like girls to like get us to talk to him and stuff.
My friend did that.
One
to me.
of them, he pulled me up onto the table with him, and he's like, oh, I dance with these girls. And there's girls right in front of me like shaking their ass. One was like literally like coming up to me kind of, and he's like, that's the sign, like go. I'm like, all right. And so I like did it, and this girl I think is like gorgeous, and so I dance with her, and I keep dancing with her, and I keep dancing with her, and I hate fucking dancing with her, and it's just us two on the table now, even though there's a bunch of people for it. I'm still dancing with her. I don't know what to do. And like we're even like talking in between, like while we're dancing sometimes, like, oh, what's your name? Oh, okay, cool. I'm Keegan. I'm blah blah blah. Like it was so like, and then eventually I'm like, all right, I gotta move us. So I eventually moved us. You know, we went to one block. I've been to this bar one time. I'm not familiar with it. I should have like familiarized myself. I like walked to this random end of the bar. She kind of realized like he doesn't know where the fuck he's going, and she's like, let's go this way. I'm like, okay, and we like go hang out for a while, and then I'm like, I like made out with her like in like on the outside area, but like it's full of people. Like literally we're around her friends, and I just like fuck it, and I just go for it. And she's all about it. But then like I'm around her all night. Like it just got weird. Like I was just doing too much. I should have just bounced, or just not even made out with her and been like, oh, let's hang out next weekend, blah blah blah. But anyway, yeah. So that I was so excited when I got home. I'm like, I've never done anything like that. I'm like, this is so dope. Like, I'm a god.
What I need to know is, who is this guy? Do I know him?
No, you don't. And maybe you do, but I never like saw him again. So I don't know if he dropped later or whatever. I think maybe I'd seen him once before, but I saw his friend all the time. Like I saw the friend that he was also trying to help or whatever, but I never really talked to him again either.
Dude, at the beginning of term 1, we were probably at like the same spot in like, how socially adept we were.
Yeah, I was not.
So, man, if I knew you back then, I would have been down to be like, yo, okay, let's make some progress. Let's like try to
Dang,
be
I wish,
less,
yeah. I mean, I interacted with you pretty quick. I mean, and you realized what I was about.
Yeah, but like we didn't really talk, we were like
Right.
doing our own thing.
Right.
Like small group. Yeah. It was,
And you were so resistant to it. I was trying to like tell you these things, and you just wouldn't handle it. You wouldn't have it.
The thing is,
and I get it, but
Yeah.
it just made it impossible for me to talk to you about it. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna keep talking to him about this.
I don't know when this was, but like my friend back home, like, took me through the same steps.
Right.
And I think I started just like 6 months after you started. So if he had started me like 6
Yeah.
months before, I would have been like, all right, like I'm ready
Yeah.
to like test out a new field.
Yeah, you just weren't having it.
Yeah. Cause I don't know.
I literally was telling you that girl's not gonna talk to you anymore, or that girl's not gonna do this, and it would literally come true, and you'd still deny shit. I'm like, what?
Man, I just
What?
like looking back now in like the mindset I have now, I would have been like, you know what, it would have been fine.
Bro, we're way different than we were like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's been a long time. It's
I mean, 3
weird,
years,
man.
a
Here
lot happens.
here it's like I have so much more confidence. It's like crazy. And I don't know where it comes from, but like even girls in my rotation be like, oh hey, you wanna go get lunch or something? Because like I don't have any interest, it's so much easier to do it. Or like
Well, it's easier when you have the I have a girlfriend confidence. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
but that's the thing. So
You would still, if you didn't have a girlfriend, you would come back and you would be way better off than you were 3 years
Yeah,
ago. I mean,
yeah.
it wouldn't be close, yeah.
because
I agree
like
with that.
because it's just fine, you know? They don't know that I have a girlfriend. And they don't know anything about me. It's like
Right.
sometimes I meet them for the first time. I'm like, oh hey, like we both have lunch. You want to go get lunch?
Right.
Like it's super easy, and just like even in like my rotations when we'd have sub-Is and stuff, I just go start talking to them. I was like, oh hey, so where are you from? You know, it's just so much easier to like start a conversation and just like, you know, somehow it always turns flirty, but
With these girls?
yeah. It's just like, you know, like flirty, fun talk. Not that I'm flirting with them,
Yeah.
but it's just like, oh, so like, you know, who are you dating? You know, tell me about
Well,
your
and one thing that's funny, I mean, this is kind of off the embarrassing stories thing, but like, it's funny to start to notice the things that girls do to try to get your attention now that you're like, you know, a little more adept, and it's just, it makes me laugh so much. Like they'll like, you'll be at the bar or whatever, or anywhere, and they'll like walk up in front of you like they're looking for something and just be like searching around the room
Where are
and
my
stop
boobs?
in front of you. Yeah, like,
Oh, they're right in front of you.
oh, they're right here. Oh, okay. And then they like walk off if you don't talk to them, and it's just like, that's amazing.
God,
like,
so funny.
like if that happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I wouldn't even understand. I thought she was actually looking for something. Mind blowing.
Where's that bathroom? Is it at the bar or
It's
is
just
it?
mind blowing.
My God.
But yeah,
So
we've
what
come
would-
a long way, man.
What are you gonna do if like, so you're seeing someone right now, but what are you gonna do if like, clubs open? You know, do you
I
end
mean,
it?
I'll keep doing my thing, I guess. I mean, unless the pull is enough that I'm fine with that, and the push is enough. You know what I mean? It's all a push pull.
Just like workouts,
Yeah, just
Got
like
it.
migration.
push days and pull days.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna keep playing it by ear. I mean, one of the reasons I'm in a relationship right now is because now I can focus on my work and stuff. I mean, it's the push pull thing. I mean, COVID is making it very difficult. You know what I mean?
Plus
if I
your
was
fucking schedule.
gonna string together, you know, several people or whatever. Wow, that sounds horrible. And then, I mean, that's what it is though. And then, yeah, COVID, my schedule, the things I'm doing. I mean, like this podcast and like editing it. I mean, just that. It's just like a little side fun thing I'm doing, and it's taking you know hours out of
Yeah.
several days. So I mean, yeah,
get
just
that.
I gained enough skill and being adept enough, and I reached my goals and then some in Grenada to the point where I'm like, I can relax a little bit. You know what I mean? It took it took a while when I got here to cool down from that because I was still in. You got to talk to this girl mode. You got to do this. You have to do that. Like I would be killing myself. Like I'd be just walking at a stoplight and I see this girl. I'm exhausted from the day before. It's the next morning. I'd see this girl and I'm like, oh fuck, I have to talk to her. You know what I mean? Even though I'm like already seeing this girl, I'm like, oh my god. So I had to cool off beating myself up for that. But
Especially now, it's you do all your work and you're like, okay, I still have so much more to do.
right.
So the fact that you like, you know, take a night off or whatever, or like, you know, put an effort to like go get a girl or something, it's just like I have so little time to do everything and I have so much other shit to do. Like I could
With that said, I mean, if you like prioritize your shit a little bit more, you could make that time. If
yeah,
you really
you know,
want
that's
to.
the thing. Like it's so tiring that you don't really want to do anything. And I don't know like how you see it, but
I
like
agree.
you gotta put in work.
It
to,
is
like-
work. It is work.
Yeah.
It's not I'm going to the bar and having just goofing around like
Yeah.
that's what it is for like girls, and they just get attention and then they go home, right? But if you're actually trying to like set a goal and get it done at the bar, I mean that's work. I mean I'm putting in work. I don't know. Maybe for other people it's easy or not that much work, but for me it is, man. I gotta get down there and fucking sweat it out.
You gotta do case logs. You gotta do fucking case write-ups if you wanna like do better. You
Right,
gotta, like,
that too. Yeah, all that shit.
there's so much stuff you could be doing. It's just like, is this how I want to spend my time, kind of thing?
You could be like investing your money and stuff. You could be trying to fucking create a business. You could be fucking reading a book to make yourself better at shit or not, whatever. So, yeah.
It's just so changed.
But yeah, I mean, dude, I have like 100 more stories that we can come up with in further podcasts for sure. I mean, I barely even breached the surface with that. I mean, bro, man, I've done some goofy ass shit.
I still have like a few more, not that many.
We'll do another episode sometime.
Mine was more like I was so resistant that like, so I don't have that many. It's like when other people decide to like come into my bubble and they're like, oh shit, I fucked up, I shouldn't have went there. But so I don't have as many because I didn't like make that effort. I had to wait for other people to make the effort. But I still got a few more.
I have a bunch from going to the bar and just fucking up. Other ones from just asking people out in the middle of the day. I mean, man, I have. It's quite the catalog.
All right, then we'll end it there.
Yeah, we'll end it there. A little teaser for I don't know.
Make list number 2 of all the shit.
We'll rock another one of these. Would you do this if you weren't anonymous? Like, let's say, I mean, besides the other podcast, with like this one specifically, let's say we did this on like a more professional podcast. Would you do it with your name?
Yeah.
Not okay. I was just curious. I wasn't sure if you would or not, because I obviously would. Though I have wild shit in my history.
Like
I have like borderline illegal shit.
Borderline illegal shit. What the fuck?
I mean, I've told you them, so I mean.
The thing is, I'm not embarrassed because there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Like when I went home, I like wrote a stand-up that I did.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I like did it for all my friends like during a party I had like at my place.
I want to hear that.
I don't have it anymore, but it was like end of term 1, like when I was still living in dorms with like
that's awesome. I didn't know you did
roommates. I started writing it and then I went home and I did it for all my friends. It wasn't very good, but like it had just all this embarrassing shit and like a bunch of other stuff.
That's amazing. I'm sure they loved it.
They liked the story. It just wasn't funny.
Right.
But yeah, maybe I'll do something like that.
That's awesome. All right, well that's my cue.
All right. Till next time.
Until next time. Peace.